and go over the problems. So I think the first three groups are going to get the easier of the questions today. Let's see. Group one, Alondra, Carson, Gina, Leslie, and Michael F.
Was it 2 rows?
You need 2 equations. Yep, 2 equations. Good. So how many? We need 2 equations. So number 3 was 2. Okay. Let's just do someone else from group 1 then. Someone else from group 1, can you do number 5?
Is it dependent?
If a system of linear equations has infinitely many solutions, then they're dependent. Good, because that means they are the same line. Oops, sorry. I'm just freaked out. Okay. Dependent. They're the same line. All right. Somebody else from group 1, can you help with number 7?
Yeah. For the first one, we're supposed to like check if each like what is it called? Parentheses fits, right? So they're like 2 different problems.
Yeah, it's 2 problems.
Okay. So the first one, I put that it is a solution because I just like plugged in the numbers.
Okay. So for this first one, you got 4 equals 4.
Yes.
And then you just continued doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to make y'all watch me write adding and subtracting. It's kind of boring. What about the second one? When did you find the violation for the second one?
Like right away. I just plugged in like right away and it equals 6 instead of 4.
Okay, so let's try it on the first one here. -1 plus 3 minus -2 equals 4. I'll put my question mark since we're not sure. And then you said it was 5. Wait, what is it? It's -4? What is it? What'd you get from it?
For which one?
I'm plugging in the point to the first one because you said that's where you found the violation, that it didn't work.
Oh yeah, because it equaled 6 instead of 4.
Oh, okay. Does it?
Yes.
But we have a minus -2. What happens to that minus -2? Let's.
Oh, it turned into a plus.
Yeah, that turns into a plus. So double check and see if this works now.
Does that first point work in all of them?
I don't know.
The first
Alondra was
point
saying it
doesn't
works.
work.
Ah, okay. Y'all
It
gotta say
doesn't work the
something.
first point.
Okay, so the first point, so let's go back then.
Yeah.
The first
Yeah,
point
I
works
did
for
that in
the
a different
first
order.
equation, right?
It
Did the
works for the first and the third equation, but for the second is not true. It's not given a true statement.
Okay. So we're checking the first point again, since we're
Yeah.
now here saying that it doesn't work. Okay, it works for the first equation, so that's good. Second equation,
No.
-0 plus 2
minus 2.
plus a -2 equals 4 question mark. What do we get from that? I think we get 0. Is that 0?
Teacher, you made the mistakes there. For the second, you have 0 plus 2 minus 2 equals to 2, because minus 2 and plus 2 is going to be 4, and 4 it's not equals to 2.
The first one I made a mistake, 0 plus.
No, the second point, because in the variable we have 0, 2 minus 2, right? When we need to upload those points in the second equation, is going to be like 0 plus 2 minus 2 equals to 2.
Uh-huh.
And
so what do
then
you get on the left? I was saying I think the left is 0. Is the left 0?
The left,
Yes.
you mean the left?
The left is 0.
0 equals 2.
Yeah, 0 equals 2. So there's our violation. So this one actually
Yes.
does not work.
Yeah.
Okay. That one actually does
Okay.
not work then. Okay. Alondra, do you see that? Which part did you mix up?
I think it was just I didn't do like the very last one.
Oh, it was the second one actually that gave us the violation. I don't know if the last one does. You could try it, but I think the last one works. I think the
Okay.
first and last one worked.
I think I just messed up like the numbers and I got confused, but I understand now.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, so do you want to try the second point now? Is everyone okay that the first point does not work because it violates the second equation? The second equation is not true. Okay, so Alondra, do you want to help with the finish with the second point? Let's go through the second point. So it's good practice since you said you got it mixed up before. So let's try the second point. So -1 + 3 minus a -2. And does that equal 4?
Yes.
Okay. So Alondra, you see on this one, you get +5, right? And that's how you get your 4 = 4. So it does work in the first equation.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's try the second equation then. So -1 plus 3 plus -2, and does that equal a 2? Ooh, lots of negatives going on there. Maybe we should clean it up a little bit. 1 + 3 minus 2. That kind of cleans it up a little bit. What do we get?
Got 2.
Okay. So that one works. All right, let's try the third one. So we have -1 plus 3 plus -2, and then does that equal 0? That's our question here. So let me know what you get on the left.
Yeah, it's 0.
Okay, 0 = 0, check. Okay, so this is the one that actually worked then, because it worked for all 3. Okay. All right, any questions on that one?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
So if we have a problem like this, we're supposed to do it like that. I know I've been gone for a couple days, but what I end up doing was, I don't know why I did it like this, but I'm just trying to double check to see if it's wrong. It seems like it's wrong, but I end up have for the first one, how you got 0, 2, -2.
Uh-huh.
So I had labeled that X, Y, Z, and I had combined both of the things together.
Oh, you
Like,
tried to solve?
not so much a solve. It was okay, like how you got X for 0 in that one parentheses, and then you have -1 in the other
Oh,
parentheses.
you tried to combine the 2 parentheses? Oh,
And then I end up plugging in for X.
oh
Then,
yeah, no, these are 2 separate problems.
okay, gotcha.
Yep. But that was definitely a creative way to try to go about it. Okay, so let's go back to our groups now and we will continue. So we just did 3, 5, and 7. So let's do 5 down here. Finally getting into some matrices, and then let's do 25. So let's do 5 and 25. We have so few problems today because they are pretty lengthy. So 5 and 25. 5, 25. All right, here we go.
Are you doing 6.4, 6.3?
We're in 6.4 now.
Would you mind if I walk through 5 of you real quick?
You don't want to try it in your group? I really want you to try it in your group because I don't want to be going through each one with you and then having the class come back and then go each one again, right? Try it in your group first and then let me know if you have questions.
Some of the groups don't be talking.
Huh?
The groups don't be talking.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Well, then we're gonna have to go in the groups again and do the high school babysitting thing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, did y'all get your invites to your groups?
Plus 1Z = 1.
Okay, So all the zero stuff I just took out, if you're okay with that, because those are gone anyways.
Okay, right.
Cool. So it looks like we already have something solved for. That's awesome. Z's 1. That's cool. So what can we do with that knowledge?
Start plugging it in. Plug in Z.
Yeah. So I think Charmaine was saying you.
How did you get Z here?
We just. Oh, Charmaine, do you want to say how you got Z?
One. So what you're going to do, Gania was telling me that what we needed to do was just, well, she was explaining how the process works. So you're going to take the equation and you're going to, the first number, you're going to add an x to, and then the second one, you're going to add a y to, the third one, a z to. So you end up with that last one having just z equal 2, since you're adding them all. Anything that has a 0 by it is going to be no x's or no y's if there's a 0. And so you end up with that third row saying z equals 1, and that's how you know what z is.
So you're multiplying in the columns, like up and down, or adding? -1. Okay.
No, you're not going to do any of that. You're just adding. You're not solving. You're going to have the variables. Once you know what the variables are, you solve from there. I'm not sure how to explain this really, but
No, because the last one, for example, the last equation, it's like we don't have any x, we don't have any y, we have just z, and z here it equals to 1, because our equation it's just x0, y0, and z, it comes automatically for himself and equals to 1. And then we are going to the second one, because the second one we don't have y, we don't have x, we have just y and z. We upload y here, and then it's going to be y minus z equals to 2. Our z is 1, and we move to the other sides, and it's going to be y equals 2 plus z, and our z equals to 1. 2 plus 1 equals to 3, and our y2 equals to 3, right? You upload everything in the first equation, you are going to find your x. Right, teacher? I don't know if I explained.
I was letting you explain. I mean, yeah, you have 3 equations, right? So the
Yes.
first equation, let me write on it. The first equation right here, I mean, not the first equation, but the second equation, that's the one that we're using to find y, because we already know what z is, right?
Yes.
So we can just plug in z and then we get y.
Right.
Using the second equation.
Yes.
So we already know z is 1, so why not just put a 1 there?
The bottom right corner is Z every time.
Yes.
Look, do you see where I wrote the, do you see here where I wrote X, Y, Z on top?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of shows you all the first numbers are X's, all the second numbers are Y's, and the third numbers are Z's.
Okay.
So that's why it's 1, this is 1x plus 1y minus z, because it's 1, 1, negative 1.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What made we end up getting the same answer, but what we kind of got confused at, what I feel like what we kind of got confused at is the way that they worded this problem. What words made them say like, hey, we need to get this answer? Because what we was looking at was at first we was like, oh, we need to put it in the row, however you pronounce it, form. So, but then we noticed we was like, oh, it's already in that form. So then we was like, is it because then we was like, is it saying backwards substitution? you know what I'm saying? Is that
Yeah,
the
it's
word-
because they said backwards substitution. Solve the system using backwards substitution.
okay, we were just trying to make sure because that's what we said, but I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so now I'm using that first equation, so you can see where I'm getting it from. I'm using the stars to help represent it. So I think it's x equals 0. Is that what y'all got?
Were we supposed to solve this? I thought we're just supposed to find z equals 1.
It says write the solution as an ordered pair or ordered triple. So that means I need all of the answers. So I can write it as a point.
Okay, sorry.
What's your X, teacher?
I got x is 0. Is that what y'all got?
No, sorry.
No.
No,
Uh-oh,
it's
what
not
happened?
0.
Did I write it wrong? Oh, I wrote a plus instead of a minus. There it is.
It's always this problem in my test. I always eat. I always
Yeah.
eat the sign, and it's
So did you get a 2?
yes. X2, Y3, XZ 1.
So
Two
now we got to
zero.
write our answers in ordered pair.
Yes.
So X is always first, just like the alphabet. So X, Y, Z, just like the alphabet. And that is our answer. If you don't write that at the end, you're not getting full credit because it told you to write point. It is a point. So if you just leave Z equals, Y equals, and X equals, that's not full credit because it wanted you to actually have the ordered pair. Or the ordered triple in this case.
I'm scared next time if I want to eat the sign.
I'm sorry, but how did you get y minus 1 equals 3?
I have Y minus 1 equals 2. Is that what you need?
No, because it says y equals 3.
Because I added the 1 over. So I have Y minus 1 equals 2.
Oh, so you
We add
moved
the
it
1.
over and it became a positive.
Yep.
Mom, you don't
So
know.
is that the same?
Mom, you don't
Stop.
1 plus 1.
I'm sorry.
It's
Jesus.
2.
Bye. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. All right. Any questions on this before we go back to groups and do the next one? No? All right, we are hopping around in groups and we're making sure everybody's participating and following the syllabus and meeting the expectations. As I said before, if you are not wanting to follow the syllabus and not wanting to meet the expectations, send us an email that just says like, I'm refusing to work in groups, and we'll just put you by yourself because it's not fair to people who want to actually talk and work together. So we're kind of hopping around and seeing that everybody is on track and doing what they're supposed to do. Okay. All right. So let's go back to groups. Let me clear that. We just did 5 and 25. So let's do 41. This is the first one with backward substitution. Yeah. So this is the first one we're really fully solving. So let's go and try to figure it out. Y'all should have your notes next to you. I know I went in one group that didn't have their notes next to them and they were like asking questions and getting stuck. And then once they looked at their notes, they were like, oh, it's right there. So that might help to have your notes to reference. Okay. All right, let's go in groups. You're still recording. People still, okay. 1, -2, 1. -1, 1. 3, -5, 6. All right, now everybody's back. Okay, can you check my matrix and make sure I wrote it correctly? Everybody check my matrix?
Yeah.
It's written correctly? Okay, cool. Because earlier in a group, I was talking to them and I wrote a number wrong. So I just wanted to make sure before we get started and get frustrated. I got a number wrong. Let's see. Professor?
No, I got a 0 on the X on the second row and a 0 on the. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Professor Sievers, do you mind, since you're the host, I can't do it. Can you, for next class, activate the whiteboards for them? Because I went into a group and I asked them to share a whiteboard so they could write on it and help each other, and they couldn't. They don't have access. So that's something that all my other classes have access to, and it helps them in the groups because they're able to write together and talk about it. If we could do that, that would be awesome. All right, so here we go. Let's talk about this. The groups I looked in were pretty confused, so maybe we got to do a little bit of review here. So first I want to talk about what are the 3 things we can do. What are the 3 things overall we can do with matrices with this method? Like, what are we allowed to do?
Swap.
Okay, 1. We can swap rows. Okay. 2, what else can we do?
Multiply.
Subtract, multiply, divide.
Multiply by a non-zero number. It has to be non-zero. Okay.
Yes, because it's an infinite number. Okay.
Okay. 3. What's the 3rd thing we can do? This is like a game. Matrices are kind of like games. It's like a puzzle you have to figure out. What's the 3rd thing we're allowed to do?
Divide. Yes.
Add a constant to multiply 2 rows. I know what the 3rd one is. I just don't know how to explain it. Like you can do like for example, -2 multiplied R1 plus R2.
So you can combine rows, right?
Yeah.
Combine 2 rows. And we do that with addition or subtraction. So addition, add, or subtract. Now, I heard somebody was talking about division. Remember, division is the same thing as multiplication of a fraction. So that doesn't get its own rule. When we say, oh, I want to divide everything by 2, that's the same exact thing as saying I'm multiplying everything by half, right? So that's why it doesn't get its own rule. It actually is multiplication of a fraction. All right, cool. So I will tell you my game plan.
Before teacher, excuse me, you mean divide, it's not correct? It's correct, right?
Divide is not its own rule. There's not a 4th rule that says you can divide all the rows because it doesn't need to be its own rule. A multiplication of a fraction is the same thing as division. So you can multiply by a fraction, right? You can multiply by half, and that's the same as dividing by 2. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, so I will tell you my strategy with these. I like to make the first column have the zeros that it needs first. That's my strategy. I feel like that helps. Are you recording, by the way? I don't see the little recording thing.
Yeah, this is recording.
Okay, awesome, cool, I couldn't see it. So my strategy is in the first column, make this a 1 first, check, we got that, good to go. Then make these 2 into zeros. That's just my strategy. You don't have to do it that way. That's just how I think is most efficient to do it. Okay,
so you would combine the 2 rows there then?
Yeah, awesome, right? Row 1 and row 2, if I add those together, aren't I gonna get a 0 right there? Boom, 0, awesome. Okay, so let's do that. So we are going to say row 1 plus row 2, and then you need this little arrow thing that says it replaces, because you have to tell me which row you're replacing. I'm gonna replace row 2 with that result.
Excuse me, teacher, I want to stop you here. It's not always working because it depends on the numbers we have in the first equation and the second and the third equation.
Yep, it's just my strategy is to get zeros in those spots first. I mean, I might have to multiply or add or do something else, but my strategy is to get zeros there first.
Yes, okay.
All right.
Is it row 2 plus row 3? I'm sorry, I don't mean to
Row
interrupt.
1 plus row 2, and we're going to replace row 2. We're going to make that first spot. I'll put a little star there if it lets me, or an arrow. We're going to make this. Oh my goodness, those arrows look creepy. Nope, that didn't work. This is different. I have different applications here on my iPad. We're going to make that a 0 first because we already have the 1 up top. So we're good. 1's there. Good to go. Next thing, I'm going to make that a 0. That's my target. So how do I make it a 0? Well, if I add row 1 plus row 2, doesn't that become a 0? 1 plus -1, that becomes a 0. So that is what I'm going to do. Now, you can do it in your head if you want, or with a calculator, or you can write it out. Since this is the first time I'm teaching it to y'all, I'm going to write it out so you can see it. So we're doing 1, 1, -1 and 3, -1, -2, 1, and -5. And these are the two we are adding together. I'm following the rule I wrote. I'm adding the rows. 0, -1, 0, and -2. Now that result, as I said a second ago, that result is going to go in row 2. Although somehow my 2 got erased, so I'll write it again. It's going to go in row 2. Okay.
Real sorry to interrupt, but it looks like someone needs to be let back into the call. Her laptop kicked her out. Just
Oh, I'll let Professor Sievers handle that stuff because I'm teaching. I'll let him handle this. I can't see that screen right now. All right. Is any questions on what we just did? Row 1 plus row 2 is going to replace row 2.
Professor Sievers is telling me to multiply, but I didn't really know what to multiply by in this case. Do you think you like for row 2 in the second matrix?
Well, if we can't multiply the second row by anything to make it a 0 because the rule says we have to multiply by a non-zero number. So the only way to make that a 0 is to add it with another row.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're not allowed to multiply by 0. Okay, let's rewrite it. Professor Sievers, are you particular about them having the little squiggly thing between their matrices?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
The little equivalent thing. Do you care? I taught with one teacher who really wanted that in every problem and one that didn't. So I was just curious what you thought.
Don't really care too much about that notation.
Okay, cool. Not going to worry about it then. Just wanted to check. All right, so let's rewrite our matrix. Now, according to our rule, we have only changed row 2, right? Yes. Row 1 and 3 are the same. We have only changed row 2 because that's what we said right here. Only change row 2. So let's write row 1. That's the same. That hasn't changed. Let's write row 3. That's the same. That hasn't changed. Now row 3, that's our new row. So that's 0, -1, 0, -2. Okay. So yes, we have a 0 there. Awesome. Any ideas how we can get the next 0? We need now this one to be a 0. How do we make that one a 0? Any ideas?
Yes, R2 plus R1.
R2 plus R1. Oh, but R2 is a 0 now.
Do R1 minus R3.
R1 minus R3. Okay. We could do that.
Yeah.
R2
Teacher,
minus
please, can you
R3?
read me?
Oh, yeah.
Now, what she was just saying about doing row 1 plus or row 2 plus row 3, you would have had to do that before you made it a 0. So if you wanted to do that first, you could have. So Ganya, if you wanted to do row 2 plus row 3 first, then you could make row 2 into the 0. You can do that, just so you know.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's do it. So row 1, 1, 1, -1, 3. Row 3. Now we're subtracting, so I'm just going to distribute the subtraction right now so that it doesn't get confusing. Since we're subtracting, that's going to change the signs on all of those. So I just made it into a plus and change all the signs so we don't get mixed up when we're trying to subtract. All right. Oh, look at that, 2 zeros. How nice. This is totally a rigged problem. When you get 2 zeros like that, you know it's rigged.
You're excited to see 2 zeros.
I like matrices. They're fun. It's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
1, 1, -1, 3. Remember, row 1 and 2 are staying the same. The only thing we changed is row 3, according to our rule.
Of course, yeah. Your row 2 teacher is 0, 1, 0, 2, right?
0, -1, 0, -2 is my second row.
Because me, I did the, okay. Because
you
me,
should get the same answer.
I started the row by row.
You should get the same answer though.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop here and see, are there any questions? Because we just completed our first column. It's good to go. First column. Any questions? Is this a little bit clearer? I know some of the groups were really confused. Is this making a little bit more sense?
Yeah, I understand a little bit better.
Okay.
Teacher, the only difference, me and you, me, I am working with the rows, you are working with the columns.
Yeah, that's why I said you can do it a different way and you should get the same thing as long as you follow those rules. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just showing you how I would start it. Okay, I only heard from Alondra. I need to hear from more people to know if the class is okay, because I don't like to just keep going with everyone confused.
Good.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wouldn't
Yes.
that -4
There
be
you
a
go.
-3?
Yeah, I understand better now.
Carson, what were you asking about? The 3?
Yeah, shouldn't that -4 be a -3?
Oh, you're right. See, y'all got to catch me when I add wrong because I end up talking and then I don't see that I added something wrong because I'm thinking about what I'm going to do next. There we go. Nice. Yep. 3 minus 6 is -3. Good. Okay, so I think I heard from like 5 people. Everyone else, are you okay?
I can understand it better, yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So, yay, we did the first column. Second column. I recommend that you do the 1 first. I recommend that you make this one a 1 first. That's my recommendation. You don't have to do it, but that's usually my recommendation is to make that a 1 first. So given that that's my recommendation, how can we make this into a 1?
Wouldn't you just multiply it by 1?
Ooh, multiply by 1?
Multiply by -1.
Oh, negative,
You-
right?
Yeah, perfect. Multiply by -1, and that's one of our rules, right? That's rule 2.
I divided by -1. It's okay, it's good to be 1. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. So negative row 2, that means I'm multiplying by -1, right? I just don't write the 1, is going to replace row 2. Now I'm just going to do this one instead of writing it on the side because I feel like hopefully y'all can follow. If you can't, let me know. 1, 1, oops, I'm writing my ones a little too big. 1, 1, 1, 3.
Mine's 1, 3.
0, oh, you're right, -1. 0, 1, 0, 2, because
Mine's 2.
I have a +2.
I have mine, I have -2.
I have positive on mine.
Okay. Because don't forget, teacher, you have the you multiply by
-2 on
-2.
second
Mine's
row.
1.
But on step 1, I had 3 minus 5, which gave me -2. So from step 1, I had a -2 there. Right?
Okay, go ahead. I don't want to stop you. Okay.
It's okay.
Thank you.
All right, so row 3 stays the same. It's just chilling there. Cool. Awesome.
Now we just get the bottom right corner now a 0, right?
Yeah, well, we already have the next one is a 0, right? This was the next one we would look at, but that's already a 0. So awesome, because it's a rigged problem. Cool. So now what do we have left? What's the last thing we have to do?
The last row. -2.
We got to change that -2. What does that -2 need to be?
1.
1. So, whoops. Whoa, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, so this needs to be a 1 according to our kind of formula that we're following. Any ideas on how to make that a 1?
Divided by -2.
Okay, we can multiply by -1/2, right?
Yeah.
Row 3 replaces row 3. Ooh, we're gonna get a fraction. Oh no. This is why you don't want to just do divided, because if you start putting decimals and rounding, your answer is going to be off. So you want to keep it in fraction form. It could be off. In this case, it won't be because it's a terminating decimal. But if it was like negative, like something else, like negative 11, 1/11, then you might end up rounding and then your answer would be wrong. So that's why we keep it in fraction form.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to try my best to fit it over here. Remember, rows 1 and 2 are just chilling. Nothing's happening there. They're just chillaxing. I know nobody says that. It makes me sound old. It's okay. And then that would be 3/2. So we now have it in the form it was asking for so that we can do our backward substitution, which is what we did on problem 25.
I'm sorry, I'm understanding what she said. How did you where it says row 2 to get row 2, but it had the -1 and then on the equals -2. Did you substitute a positive on the other side to make the 2 to make it 2? 1 and it to change it from -1 to 1 and -2 to 2?
We multiplied this row by negative, by like a -1.
Oh, okay. And so that's how it changed it. So, okay, because you lost me there too. So I have to multiply.
All right. Any other questions before we go back to the backward substituting stuff? Looks like y'all are going to have to do 45 and 51 on your own, but I know it's because we spent a bit of time on this one and really breaking it down. Any questions? Because I'm going to start erasing a little bit of it so that I can do the backwards substitution part with y'all. No? Okay. So I'm going to start erasing at the top left so that I can work on the backwards substitution. If you're done, start doing it. Start writing it in equation form. Don't wait for me, because it's going to take me a second to erase this stuff.
What is the equation? Is it x plus y or plus z equals?
Yeah, x plus y minus z, right?
Yes.
All right. All right, there. I think I have enough space now. I wish that in Zoom would let you just like mass delete, but it doesn't let you. You have to erase.
And z would be 3/2.
Yep.
Yes.
C of x plus y minus z equals 3. And then we have y equals 2. Awesome. Already solved for us.
Yeah.
Less work. Definitely a rigged problem. And then we have z equals 3/2. So also already solved for us. Awesome. So now all we got to do is find x, right? And then we got all 3 and we're done. How would we find x?
We need to change this side. It's like the usual what we did before. It's like we need to upload the y and z to find x.
Yeah, we got to substitute, right? Plug them in. We already got y. So x plus, let me use a darker color. Oh, shoot. Okay. So x plus y is a 2. So I'm just going to put a 2 there now. Minus z is 3/2. So I'm just going to put 3/2 equals 3. So it looks like we might have to do some sort of fraction solving here. Might get a common denominator like 4/2 minus 3/2. This is just fraction stuff here. That's all I'm doing. Not doing anything fancy. 2.5. Or we could have said 2.5, or we could have said 5/2. Those are all the same thing. And I did say you could use a decimal if it terminates. So this one terminates. So you could put 2.5. So
You're 3 at the, I don't mean to go back. When you write your equation at first, you're 3, you always stick with like one row, right? To put on the equal sign behind the equal sign.
yeah, each equation is one row.
And just pick one each time to plug it back in.
Well, that one's the one that made the most sense, right? Because the X and X was gone in the other two. And we wanted X, so
Okay.
that was the only one left. All right, how do I write my answer? Because I won't get full credit like this.
XYZ.
Parentheses.
It's the-
Yeah, XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
As a peer.
that.
Now, hopefully we didn't make any mistakes because we were going so quick with the calculations, but I think we're good.
You good, yeah. 5/2.
I have 25 eyes, pairs of eyes, 50 eyes watching to see if I make a mistake.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to double check how you have the 5/2, but it's okay if we pick 2.5.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just double checking.
Yeah, don't get too happy with decimals though, because if it keeps going, like let's say it was like 2.5555555, you can't write it like that. You have to keep it in fraction form.
Okay. Even though like I understand that, but even though like if it was like 2.55555, I wasn't able to put like 2.55 in the little line at the top.
No, I would put it in fraction form because it's going to be harder for you to plug that back in to check that it works because you're going to have rounding errors.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Whew. Well, we got through that problem. I know we are out of time, but at least y'all got to see 41 and we went through some of those other ones. I hope that helped clear up some questions. Hope.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I understand it better. Better than the video, honestly. The lecture video.
Yeah, the
All right,
best thing.
well,
I was
this
gonna say,
video will be posted also, so y'all can watch it again if you need to.
the best advice I have for them is to try this out. Like, there's no way you're gonna learn this without like diving into it, and you're gonna get it wrong. Be prepared to get stuff wrong. Be prepared to get frustrated, because once you get something wrong up there, guess what? Everything else that follows it probably also has to be corrected. Like, it is not. What do I want to say? It is very tedious, and like I even get stuff wrong when I do these.
Like earlier when Carson saw that I had a -4 instead of a -3, at that point it would have messed up the rest if we hadn't fixed it. So it's really easy to make mistakes with these.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
it is a lot of work, but if we try to do things the other way without matrices and just plugging stuff in and back plugging with variables in it, oh god, man, like that would be like so much worse than matrices. Like, matrices do really make it a lot better than like the other way around. They give you a lot of structure.
But sometimes it's good to give us the answer key like down and like to make sure we find the solution. It's not.
Oh
just-
yeah, like definitely look at the answer key. Like, don't be robbing yourself with the answer key. Look at the answer key on these. Make sure you're getting there. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
And
Are
Are
also
you sure
plug
you
them
are
in,
going to?
check.
Excuse me. In the test, you are going to give us the answer key down or no? I don't know. Just because it's like if we have the answer key, I'm sure I'm not here. I want to redoing it again, but
yeah, but we do partial work. So if you're just getting like one little thing wrong in there or something like that, it's not going to be like you're getting the whole problem wrong, right? It's not.
yeah.
We're not quite that mean. I'm not quite that mean.
Structure though, you got to make it clear for us to grade, because if you just have matrices all over the place and you don't have rules and we can't see what you're doing, we can't give you partial credit. So make it as clear as possible so we can give you as many points as possible.
Okay, please. For today, we need to submit the 4.2, right? 4.2.
Tonight,
Please.
what's tonight? Is anyone
4.1
still copying this? If no one's copying this, I'll write what's due on the screen.
You know, there's a sequel coming up,
4.2.
a Matrix sequel tomorrow.
All right, what's due today? Don't we have homework corrections due today? right? Because we had a homework submitted last night at midnight. Which homework was that?
4.1 corrections.
4.1.
4.1 corrections, that's due tonight. Okay, what else? What else is due tonight?
4.2 homework.
Okay, 4.2 homework is due tonight. And what's due tomorrow by class?
Lecture notes.
Or which
I
section?
think it's 6.4b.
Okay, 6.4b notes are due. Sorry, it got funky again. It does that sometimes. Notes tomorrow by noon.
I would really suggest getting a sort of graphing calculator for this test if you can.
A question about the calculator.
So I know the library used to check them out when we went in person. I don't know if they're still doing that.
Oh no, I got me the calculator. Trust me, because I know I'm need it. Because
It would definitely help you on this test, making sure you get these matrices correct.
Yeah.
My whole thing, like with the calculator, how about if you don't know how to use it? Like I've been playing around with it and trying to, oh, let me try to.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to show y'all probably some stuff on
Okay.
how to use it, or at least on the TI, how to use the TI.
Yep.
Other than
Yeah,
that, like if you want to come by
84.
office hours, I can show you how to do like a lot of wonderful stuff on your calculator.
Yeah, if
I know
y'all
the
want to come
TI
to
is really
office
well.
hours
Yeah.
or my hours, remember I have all those hours available, the instructional associate, swing by. I'll show you how to use your calculator. You can check your answers in your calculator. It'll do it for you.
Yeah, and the thing with that is like every calculator is different.
Yep.
So
We'll do, I mean, yeah, there's like 15 million different calculators. So
Yeah.
hopefully you have one we can figure out. But I know the one I have is the TI-84. I can just type it in and it gives me the answer. We're going to grade your work though. So your work has to make sense, but you can just type it in and it gives you the answer and you can check.
You said TI-84?
That's the one I have, but TI-89 is the same.
do you know if
Yeah.
the library still checks them out to them?
I don't know. Has anyone checked it out?
I got mine a couple weeks ago, the TI-84, and they were like scares on Amazon.
Hmm.
After like 40 pages, I found a place with like 3 left.
Oh, wow.
We can find this in the Walmart or HEB or?
Yeah, I think the library used to have them when we went in physical person. So I don't know if they're still doing that, but I think you can still get them from the library as well. You just have to recheck it out every so often or something.
Okay, thanks so much, everyone, and have a great day.
Bye.